So my name is Jonathan. I am one of the co-founders here at Sutori. I'm also an ex-teacher, and it's really been a pleasure to see Sutori grow over the last 4 or 5 years. We began simply by recreating historical events on Twitter. Um, and over the years, we grew into this educational platform, which is approaching the million users now. So that's quite exciting. But we also feel it's kind of like the beginning of our journey. There's still a lot of things we would like to do with the platform. And we also have a very teacher-centered focus and teacher-centered approach to developing our product. So we have like our own ambassadors. I think a few of you have signed up to this webinar. Our ambassadors who help us kind of steer the ship of where we go with the product. So let's begin. So first of all, thank you for everyone for joining. So let me start by sharing with you. I don't know. I'm going to start by showing like three particular things. The first is going to be how do you invite your students, import them from Google Classroom. Then I'm going to show some of the management of the students and why you should import your students from Google. Secondly, I'm going to show how you can share your assignments to Google Classroom. Same thing for your students. And thirdly, I'm going to show how you can embed different Google Suite presentations, such as Google Forms, Google Sheets, etc., into Sutori. So first, I'm going to log into my account. So of course, if you have a Google account, like most websites nowadays, you can sign up with that. Same thing for your students. So when you log in, the first thing you see is your stories page, but I'm going to go to my students right here. So this is where I can manage all of my student accounts, all of my students, sorry. This is what it looks like when you have students. If you have not invited students yet, or students haven't added you yet as a teacher, this will look rather empty. So what you do is you first click on Invite Students. And so here you have two options. So you can either import directly from Google Classroom, or you can also get your students to sign up manually. So this means that all they need to do is create an account on Sutori, and then they have somewhere on their profile, they can add this code, and then they'll be part of your students. But it's easier actually to import your class from Google Classroom. So you click on it, and then Sutori connects to your classroom, and then you can import the classes you wish. So in this case, I'm going to go with the first one. And there you go. It's already done. So all your students need to do now is just sign up to Sutori. So you can either click on the Google Classroom button here, so then you can add a comment and send an announcement to your students, or you can just let them come to the Sutori platform and sign up by themselves. They will automatically be part of your students, of your list of students, once they have created an account. So you see here, I imported from Social Studies grade 10. This was Thomas Ketchell here. He had already had an account, so he appeared in the students. If they don't have an account, they will appear down below here with a section called invitations. So this is really one of the central hubs of Sutori. Something very, very useful, because one of the main reasons why you should invite your students is that you can access their work at any time. You don't have to go through the hassle sometimes of making sure they send the right link to you, or making sure they actually do share the work with you. If a student is part of your group here, if one of your students is here, you can access their work at all times. And you will, as we will see a bit later, you can also get valuable stats on their creations. And a handy thing is you can also organize them through tags. So for example, here, if I want to select only one tag, I just click like here, deselect it. I can also sort them by first name or last login. And if I want to assign a new tag, let's say group A, enter. This could be useful if, for example, I want to set up a specific assignment, which is only for these 2 students, or let's say these 3. And there you go. So it's very easy to use afterwards because we can share, as I'm going to show a little later, you can share your stories with a specific tag. So we're going to go and check out Maria's stories. She's one of my students. So here we're going to go, so here I can access, so this student is actually under 13. And so for privacy reasons, under 13s cannot do everything. They cannot, for example, share their work publicly. Their name remains only visible their first name only remains visible. And also, I can also, which is very interesting and useful, especially for younger kids, you can actually change their password if need be, and update it for them. Otherwise, all students over 13 have the classic forgot password link, which like you have on many websites. So I'm just going to check out one of her stories here. So one of the key advantages to adding, importing your students from Google Classroom is that you can add comments. So you can add comments to under each item automatically as a teacher. So this is great because this enables you to provide direct feedback on a specific item. So a word of encouragement or a little something they need to change. This is very targeted feedback, which of course your students can also respond to if you wish. So there. And another thing you can do is you can access stats. So for example, this site, it's very useful if you, in this case here, because we're looking at the items, if you have a specific assignment where you can decide, where you have specific instructions. Oh, I would like you to add 10 image. I would like you to add a video. At least here you have an overview of all the items within the story. And one interesting feature here is the time spent. I'm going to show it on a future story afterwards, but you can see how long the student has spent actually working on Sutori on their project. If you have quiz questions, you can also see how they replied, etc. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard. Let me just check if there are any questions. No, okay for now. So yeah, so I'm going to open one of my stories and show you how you can share to Google Classroom. So this is a story I created where I had already added 3 collaborators to it. So what you do is you click on share. As you can see here you have the 3 which I had already added. So all 3 of them can edit and add their comments. But I can also, if I want, set them different kinds of editing rights. So here you can only view and comments, or if I want to remove them, just click there. If I want to add someone else, I can either insert their name or their email address. For example, I'll add Thomas. If I want to share with a tag, so what was the tag I created? Was it group earlier? This is a tag. So these 3 students, which I created earlier, I can edit and comment or view and comments. When you click on share, here you have a variety of sharing options available. Here you can see it's secret. This means private. By default, every story you and your students create is private. Nothing is public. It's only if you decide to make it public that it is. So you can share to Google Classroom something privately or via email, but you have to make it public if you wish to post it on Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest, or if you want to embed it into another website. So this is a code which you can use to embed it into a Google Sites, for example. Many of our teachers use it that way. Another handy feature you have down here, before I go to Google, is you have a collaborative link. So for example, if you do not import your students to Sutori, or if you would like to put a link up somewhere of your story, you can copy it first of all here, and then you can assign different rights. So you can just put anyone who has this link can edit and comment. So if you post it on one of your class boards or somewhere, everyone who can access it, if they provided they have an account, of course, they can edit and comment it on it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Google Classroom. So at the moment, I'm signed in as a teacher. So this is in Google's hands from now on. This is not Sutori anymore, but I'm just going to show you briefly how it works. So it works like any kind of Google assignment. You choose your class, Social Studies 10, then you choose the action. So in this case, I'm going to create an assignment. Click on Go. And so here you have the link of the story at the bottom, and I can provide instructions. For example, read through the story and provide comments. Let me know what you think. And on Google, of course, you can assign different points, or you can make it ungraded. And interestingly, you can put a due date. So if you put a due date, which is, if a student, let me rephrase that. If a student tries to submit to a due date that is past, he cannot anymore through Sutori. So this is very, very useful, because that's something which many of our teachers requested, to put a start and an end date to an assignment, but this is something that Google does, so we do not need to repeat it. And then you click on Assign, and it's posted to your class. And so then you can go to your class and view it, and here you have it, the space race. Okay, so now I'm going to go and show you what it's like to embed the different Google resources into Sutori. So I'm going to create a story. Like maybe first check. Okay, looks good. So when you create a story, you have a selection of templates you can use. Activities and graphic organizers, things which are more centered on English and social studies, or math and science. But I'm going to pick a blank to begin with. So Google and story. Oops. There is, and maybe Google. There you go. So first, one of our core features we have when you create a story is the embed feature. The advantage of this is that you can put all your resources, not just Google. As you can see on this image here, there are things as diverse as Kahoots, as Instagram posts, as Quizlets, ThingLinks, Bunsies, Edpuzzles, Flipgrids, Prezi. You can all embed that onto a Sutori. So the advantage is you do not need to keep multiple tabs open. So if you want to share with your students a resource full of different educational resources, you can have them all in one place. Notwithstanding all the YouTube videos, which you probably have in your instructions, and PDFs and so forth. But here I'm going to focus on adding a couple of Google documents. So, sorry. So what you first of all do is you create an embed item, and all you will need to do is paste a link here. But you need to paste, for some of these Google links, the correct link. I'm just going to show you how. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive. And here I want to embed, I have it here, this Google Sheets. This is a template I took from Google just as an example. So I'm going to click on File, then click on Publish to the Web, and I'm going to publish it. Yes, I'm sure. And then I need to copy this link, Control-C, and then simply paste it into Sutori. If you want to make it bigger, feel free to click on this button here. So there you go. That's it. That's all you need to do. Now, it is the same for if I want to embed a Google presentation, which I'm going to show you right now. So for example, this one, science fair. Again, the same process. Once you know it, it's very quick. Publish it, yes. Copy the link and paste it. It's the same process for Google Sheets too. So we have Sheets, Google Form, Google Docs, and Google Slides. All three of those you have to publish as the process I just did to the web, and then copy that link. For Google Forms and Google Maps, it's even simpler. So here I'm just going to embed the Google form. So this was the one for the webinar, for example. I don't need to make it public or anything. Just click on Control-C. So I copied it here and paste it. So I'm sure you can find very good use for this. Again, all within the same tab on Sutori. So let me open up Google Maps now. So I'm just going to zoom out. This is where I'm currently based, Brussels in Belgium. So I'm just going to copy this link and paste it here. And there you have it. I can easily zoom in and out. No need to go to another platform. These are some of the core features we have at Sutori. I'm going to take this opportunity to actually showcase one of our latest features, which is the present mode. So I'm going to go to another story, check out the resource page, go to some of our editors picks. So for example, this one about surrealism. So if I click on present, this is proven to be already, we've only put it live this Monday, yeah, and it's already proven, and we've been looking at our stats, and it's already proven to be really, really popular. So I hope you make a good use of it. It's free too. So when you click on present, the advantage is you can show your story one item at a time, as you would show a PowerPoint, one item, one slide at a time. This is ideal, and this was something which was requested by our teachers, because they saw a disconnect when their students or themselves were trying to show a Sutori on a whiteboard or on a large screen in front of class. The old format like this meant they had to kind of zoom in and out. It wasn't the easiest to read from afar. So we created this presentation mode, and all you need to do is just go from one item to the next. Click up and down. It works just like any other presentation. It really makes the item stand out and enables you to read it as you would read a normal presentation. And of course, you can play videos, etc. So yeah, feel free to play around with that. We still have some improvements we would like to make to it, small improvements to the user experience, little things. But if you have any feedback in general, feel free to send me an email